Hey, before we play this week's episode, I wanted to introduce you to one of our new companies, Intrapreneur. Intrapreneur is a clothing brand that stands for the managers, implementers, and innovators within every community. Intrapreneurs are the flesh and bone of most companies and are the reason companies even succeed. So we are building a community of entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs who are like-minded go-getters and build company success from within. To learn more about Intrapreneur and to join this community, check out our clothing and products at www.intrapreneur.shop. That's INTRAPRENEUR.shop. As an added bonus, we also give away cars to reward those hardworking individuals that show up to work every day ready to make a difference. Every $5 spent earns one entry for your chance to win a Porsche 718 Cayman S and $20,000 cash. Visit the website for more details, intrapreneur.shop. The Circle of Knowledge podcast is brought to you by Amplified Minds, helping entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, and dreamers take their business ideas and goals to the next level. This podcast features best-selling industry resources and the professional panel discussions by the core team at Amplified Minds. Now, here are their discussions. Welcome back to the Circle of Knowledge podcast. This is John Kovacs Jr. joining Mr. Matt Fritchie in the house.
Hey, guys.
We're so excited to be with you here today. To get right to it, we really wanted to just tell you a little bit about our company. We are a company called Amplified Minds, and we are an accountability company, and we help coaches, speakers, mentors, entrepreneurs, and intrapreneurs, all of the above, to help them with their progress. We help them through accountability programs, and we also host mastermind groups, and yeah, we're now dabbling in many other areas, including the tech space, but to come, more information to come on that. But we just wanted to tell you a little bit about that. And in the next few episodes, you will hear kind of our story as we've been interviewed on several radio stations in the past few weeks and months, and we wanted to share that information with you. So we're super excited to post that. But that's just a little bit of information about us. And now, Matt, before I pass it over to you, we'll just keep to tradition. A funny little, fun fact about myself is that I have now seen the new Jurassic World movie 4 times in theater. And it has only been out for, a month and a half now?
Yeah. And what's sad is I thought I was going to be on the same trajectory because when the first Jurassic World came out, I saw that 7 times in theaters.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so I've only seen the new one 1 time. It's not because I don't like it. It's just because I just haven't had the time, I guess.
And our priorities are a little different now. But we're grown men and we're, raising families and all of that. So excellent. But yeah, 4 times. And I'll probably go see it again because I think my wife needs to see it now. So
nice.
I've seen them all without her. Anyways, that's a fun fact about me and just a little bit more information from our company, Amplified Minds. But we're super excited to pass the time over to Matt, who's going to talk to us about our book for today.
Okay, so the book we're going to talk about today is a book called Pivot from Adam Markel. Now, Pivot, as the front cover of the book says, the art and science of reinventing your career and life. But the whole idea of pivoting is changing the direction that you're headed in life. Sometimes we get stuck. Whether we're an intrapreneur or an entrepreneur, sometimes we get stuck. Our mind isn't flowing as it should. We don't, we lose that momentum or we lose that motivation. We lack the energy every morning. We start to question why we're even doing what we're doing. We struggle to figure out what to even do throughout the day. Pivot is all about changing that direction and helping you find how to make that turn and start living a purposeful life where you're waking up every day, you're energized, you're excited to start the day, you know what you got to do, you know what you need to accomplish to live the life you want to live. And that's what it's all about. But I think one of the first chapters, in fact it is the first chapter, which talks about unbelieving. And it's unbelieving your past. A lot of times we determine our future based on our past. So we'll look at, especially I think the entrepreneurs who are looking at building these side hustles, a lot of times they question their ability, whether or not they can do it because of one thing that went wrong in the past. Or maybe it's an entrepreneur who has had a business, it hasn't really been successful, and now they look at it and go, well, now I need to go become an entrepreneur because clearly I'm not an entrepreneur because my one business didn't work. Pivoting is all about, or at least in that first chapter, it's all about unbelieving everything that you know, unbelieving everything that you have been told or past experiences. And what Adam Markel does towards the end of the chapters that I love, he asks you pivotal questions. So I'm going to ask John a question and just see what comes out. And it's a question again based on Adam Markel's question in the book Pivot. What do I currently believe that might be preventing me from pivoting?
What do I believe might be preventing me from pivoting? Mm-hmm. Interesting question. A lot of times it's and I like to reference one of my favorite mentors of all time, Les Brown. He says there's a difference between eyesight and mindsight. That's MINDS, as in amplified minds. Eyesight is what you can see, and there's mindsight, which is what you can see when you close your eyes, when you envision the future, when you think about things that you cannot see physically. And you can imagine those things when you have that creativity, that ability to see beyond, the pain, the suffering, the hard times of being an entrepreneur, or even just in general. But I would say that the difference between, eyesight and mindsight is that ability to pivot. And I think what keeps us from pivoting, or what keeps me from pivoting, honestly, is, I see everything in front of me. I know my tasks every day, every week. And then there's the floating in the cloud, big ideas and things, my dreams, my passions, other things that are there, but I just don't know how to, or I don't envision the correct way to take action. I think just right off the cuff, that's all I can think of.
Okay, very well. Well, I know that you'd mentioned envision, and what Adam is talking about in here is seeking that clarity so that you can have a clear vision. And in order to see clearly, you need to get rid of all the muck and everything behind you. I know for myself, to answer that question, what do I currently believe that might be preventing me from pivoting? It's a lot of, I would say, even on the sales side. Like I worked in sales before, and I remember cold calling. That's what I did. I mean, I only did it for a few months, but the company was awesome. I just, found a better direction with, of course, our processing company across the hall here. But when I was cold calling, I was calling, 50, 60, 70 different companies a day, trying to work myself up and all that good stuff. And the success rate when you're truly cold calling, when there's no script, there was never a script, you had to create your own script, and you had to find these people, you had to generate lists, so they were truly cold individuals. And especially when it was your first time really selling, the success rate wasn't very high, especially at the beginning. Towards the end, it started to pick up, but at the beginning, it was so difficult. And I think that one thing preventing me from truly pivoting and being where I want to be is I feel like sometimes that might still be a part of me.
Right.
I look at it and I go, do I really have the ability to sell, especially when it comes to generating new ideas? Obviously, we've built up MSS, Merchant Processing Company, of course, with Ryan, my brother. He's the owner of that company. And then we've got Amplified Minds. We've tried it with Sips Hot Chocolate, our catering company. Now we're starting that company, Entrepreneur. And I think that it's always just that one thing that just is that deep factor of, will this succeed, is do I have the ability to sell this?
Right.
Because selling takes a long time, it's difficult, and when there's no script to go off of except your own experiences. But I think that if you can let that go, I think, and then you allow yourself to just naturally and freely speak of what you love to do and some of your passions, especially when you have projects and products behind those, it's so easy to get past that. So I just have to simply let go. And that's, Adam's next chapter, which is let go. You got to let go of all that stuff behind you, because those are keeping you from being who you really want to be. And I think it's so easy to just say it it's a lot more difficult to actually do it. And, but I guess the most complicated part about this whole thing is it is all a mindset. It's not an action that you can undo. It's literally letting it go in your mind. So it almost is as easy as letting it go. You just have to have the ability to see a brighter future ahead, put yourself in a new perspective, see yourself selling it in a new way, or see other people who are buying your products, or, your boss giving you a raise, rather than constantly thinking about, will this happen behind me? I look at it and I think, I'm sorry, John, I'm talking a lot, but I look at Bob Cattell, who's always talking about the past and the present being a story. That's all it is. You can't literally touch the past. You can't literally touch the future. You can only touch the now. Therefore, what is it? It's just a story. It's something that's in your mind. And you have control of your mind.
And just for story's sake, I wanted to add something to that. The first time I actually learned about the word and the meaning of pivot is when I was in middle school basketball team. And I was trained and I was taught by my father to always drive the ball towards the hoop, to be facing the hoop, to position yourself and your body between yours, in the direction of the hoop. And I found myself always getting caught up with really good defenders. And when I would pick up the ball, I didn't know what to do because I had to get the ball straight to the hoop. I realized that, if I lift up one foot and I pivot on that one foot, an entirely new perspective would come. And, even though my body was not turned towards the hoop, I could see my open teammates. I could read the coach. I could have a little bit more clarity and a little bit more breathing room to make better decisions. And honestly, even though I didn't get the ball straight to the hoop like I had planned, moving the ball away from where I was going actually ended up resulting in better things. And I learned that once, and then when I played football as a quarterback, I remembered that pivotal lesson, no pun intended, and when you're facing one direction and then you decide, I'm going to plant one foot, turn the other direction, all of a sudden I have an open receiver on my backside. Yeah, it opened up worlds for me. And I like that comparison because I think it goes right back to what you said, Matt, that sometimes you just have to believe that you can take action in the present, even though you don't know the future, even though you can't reside on the past. You need to focus on making new directions happen. And one last thing is a concept that I'm in love with is this idea that there is no plan B until you reach plan B. And my brother and I, my brother played college football for the Southern Utah University, and he learned this lesson of, chasing your dreams is all about not changing direction until you realize it's time to change direction. And this is kind of adding a new perspective to this whole discussion, but having a plan B means you're already ready to change direction. But when you give everything you've got in the one direction you're heading, but then all of a sudden you realize that might be a dead end, or that might not be the direction you need, or you're stuck, you need to create a plan B. And I think that's all about pivoting. And I don't think it's changing direction, or I don't think it's any of these other terms of failing and deciding to do something else. No, it's called changing direction. It's pivoting. And I just love that idea because everyone has the ability to grow and to I guess make better decisions once they have an open perspective. And then, just like in the book, taking that time to pivot and then focusing on the new and better things is probably a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that unbelieving all that stuff in the past and letting go of everything that once existed is how you're going to set that clear vision for your future. If you want a better future, like I said at the very beginning, if you're feeling stuck, if you feel like you have no energy, no motivation, it could be time to pivot. And the way that you got to pivot, the way you start, is you got to get rid of that past. You got to just unbelieve it and let it go. So I think that's a challenge for everyone out there. Even if you feel like you're motivated, just give it a try and maybe set that vision in your future a little bit more clear and let go of anything. Stretch yourself is what I'm saying. Set that vision of where you want to be and stretch yourself a little bit and determine what in the world you have to let go behind you in order to reach that vision. So there you go.
Thank you, Matt. Well, everybody, coming to you from Silicon Slopes, we're super excited to have you as our audience. By the way, if you ever want to express how you feel or just some of the things you're learning, or even just give us some ideas about the books and topics you'd like to hear on the podcast, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. We're also seeing a lot of popularity in some of our past episodes, and it's pretty exciting, Matt, but we're going to be able to revisit some topics in other books, as well as maybe elaborate on some of the topics we didn't get as deep into as we wanted to in our short amount of time. But as our audience, we want to reach out to you and say, hey, tell us what you want to hear, and we'd love to expound on those topics. We'd love to mastermind questions for you, as well as go deeper into books that you're most favoring. So something super exciting for the future.
Cool. Great. Well, thanks, you guys.
Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Hey, this is John with Amplified Minds. Thanks again for listening to the show. We really hope you enjoyed the Circle of Knowledge podcast. If you like the Circle of Knowledge podcast, go ahead, subscribe, rate us, and if you give us a 5-star review, we promise to give you a personal shout out here on the air. Just watch us. To learn more about Amplified Minds, go to our website at amplifiedminds.com. That's AMPLIFIEDMINDS.com. Hey, shout out to all you coaches, speakers, mentors, the superheroes of the world. We have the perfect program for you and your audiences. We have the capabilities of setting your audience and communities up in private mastermind groups and assign them a one-on-one personal accountability coach where they can help your people achieve the things that they're working towards, tailored to your programs. For more information about this, go ahead and send me an email at John, that's JON, at amplifiedminds.com. I look forward to hearing from you.